Today we're heading to Northern Monk for their Patrons Project. This is a Patrons Project beer called part of the British culture. But what's it going to be like? Is it going to be like all the other great Patrons Project beer that we had from Northern Monk? Keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. This is the exciting time because it's the first beer of the month that we're doing from the new beer hall that we got from Premier Hop. This is one of the Northern Monk Patrons projects. This is in collaboration with Wylam Brewery, so two breweries, and it is a part of the British culture archive, and it is called, let me have a quick read of this, Crowd for the Summer. So this one came out in the summer, so I want to start drinking this one first. And as you say, like all the Patrons projects have a great opening sort of artwork there, you can see that, and then inside lots of bump about it. So it talks about obviously this British culture archive. We had another one by British Culture Archive, one of the best reviewed beers on the channel, so wanted to try another one by them. But in terms of the beer itself, it's a double dry hopped IPA coming in at 7.4%, so quite high, I think, up there on the IPA scale. And as I say, this is collaboration with Wylam Brewery. It's got Amarillo, Dorado, Citra and Ernest. Now, Ernest is a hop that I've not heard of before. Apparently, it is a hop that's been sort of almost long forgotten back in the sort of, I don't know, even 50s and 60s. And it was discounted a lot back then because it was seen as being a bit too American. But obviously now we love American hops. So obviously it's made a comeback. Apparently it has a sort of apricot sort of flavour. So let's crack this beer open, get it into a glass and see what it's all about, what Ernest is all about. Certainly I've not had Ernest hop. And I just hope this is just as, you know, as good as all the other Patrons projects. It might be a bit different, but as long as it's got that sort of the feel and the quality that we usually get with Patrons projects, then that's great. So beer in a glass, very sort of orangey. It looks a bit lighter in the screen than it does here. It looks quite dark orange. 2 fingers, maybe even 3, are very compacted, just slightly sort of off-white head, but looks pretty good. Hazy, cloudy, looks like a pretty good IPA. Let's get some aromas. Yeah, I'm getting the apricot there, I'm getting orange, I'm getting passion fruit, and mango as well. Those sort of, you know, those sort of quite dank sort of fruits. Smells pretty good. Let's try. See what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Very soft, low levels of carbonation, has a sort of creamy body. It's got a lot of those sort of orangey sort of fruit flavours. So there's orange, there's passion fruit, and the apricot's coming through. And the apricot's got a little bit of sort of dankness on it, and you can taste that it's a little bit stronger than your normal sort of mid-range 6.5% IPA. You know, there's a bit stronger. It's got a real sort of stone fruity sort of bite to it, I think. Let's have another go. Yeah, I mean, you're expecting with those sort of fruits that maybe you're going to get something quite sweet. There's not really much sweetness. It's very much got those sort of slightly over-ripened, danker sort of fruits. You're getting that this Ernest hop is coming right through. It's definitely got big hits of apricot. You think, oh, it's a bit peachy, but then the flavour's that strong, a bit more stronger, and that's, for me, that's where you get more of those apricot sort of flavours. I mean, there's other hops that have a stone fruit flavour, and apricot being a stone fruit can come into that. But this is very distinct in terms of its apricot, more so than peach, and more so even than mango. There is a little mango in there, but I'm also getting tinges of sort of orange sort of rind and passion fruit as well. It's a very sort of there's also a sort of an earthiness about it as well. Yeah, it's a little bit, the fruit's a little bit over ripened. There's big sort of almost to a level of, I wouldn't say there's bitterness in here, but there's a sort of orange rind that gets pretty close to sort of being a bitter sort of flavour. It's quite dry as well, as it's double dry hops. What were the other hops in here? Let's just go through those. Amarillo. Yeah, I mean, Amarillo can bring a bit more sort of piney, resinous sort of ness to it. Dorado, Australian sort of hop, and Citra. I'm not getting huge amounts of, certainly not lemons and limes and grapefruits. I'm getting big hits of oranges, a real sort of bit, you know, the big sort of orange, not a sweet sort of Satsuma style orange, but big sort of orange, the orange rind. It's certainly, it's not what I would call refreshing in terms of its flavour, because it's getting close to being like a double IPA. That dank, slightly sweaty sort of flavour to it. Big oranges, passion fruits, mangoes, big on the stone fruits, the apricot, really a real strong flavour, but it's pretty good, tastes nice. Is it as good as the other patrons projects that we've had? I don't think so. It doesn't. The other reason why I tried this one first is I noticed on the on the can here it says, you know, and I've just bought it at the beginning of October, but it says best before the 13th of November. And I thought, well, that's not very far away. It doesn't really give an indication of when it, no, canned. It's difficult to say what the can date on it, because there's a lot of numbers that sort of say 18. I mean, I don't know what the can date. It's difficult to determine when it was actually canned. But I thought, because it said November, I thought better drink it quickly. So, and it does sort of taste less fresh, and I don't know whether that's because of the combination of the hops, or whether because maybe this. I mean, this came out probably quite close to the sort of in the summertime. So even if it was June, it wouldn't even be 6 months old. I don't think it tastes like it's past its sell-by date, as it were. I mean, it obviously isn't, because it's obviously the end of November. We're only in the beginning of October, really. But it's got that sweatiness about it. It's got that over-ripened fruit. But it is a 7.4% IPA, and you can taste a little bit. There's a little bit of alcohol burn in there, whether that's alcohol or hop burn. There's just a little bit of burn in there, just to remind you that you're on the high end of the sort of IPA scale. It's not bad. I would like it a little bit more fresh and citrusy, but you know, with these hops, you're not probably going to get that. If you like stone fruit flavoured IPAs, and certainly apricot, then it's great. I mean, I'm surprised I don't see more Ernest, because I think, you know, it'd be a hop that would be put to good use with a lot more sort of citra, a lot more brighter sort of citrus fruits. It'd probably be a good combination. Here, I think it overpowers, even though you've got those other hops in there. Not bad. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Northern Monk and Wylam breweries, part of the Northern Monk Patrons Project. This is a British culture archive, and it is Crowd for the Summer, double dry hopped IPA with a multitude of hops. We've got Dorado, we've got Amarillo, we've got Citra, and we've got this Ernest hop as well, this British hop that's not really used that much these days. It's not bad, but I think in terms of Patrons Projects, it's probably one of the worst that I've had, but it's still good beer. So let's go through those scores. Aroma. Well, straight away, I mean, I did know that Ernest hop had apricot characteristics, and as soon as you put it to your nose, you get an apricot, you're getting subtlenesses of, you're getting peach and mango as well, other stone fruits, but the apricot is quite strong. It's very sort of dank and almost like over-ripened fruits. There's also orange and passion fruit in there as well. It's not bad. I'm giving it 11 though for aroma. Appearance-wise, well, it's a lovely sort of golden orange with a nice lace in the glass. You've got a slight sort of sliver of head there, but it's still got a head there. I think it's pretty good. I'm giving it 8 for appearance. Flavour-wise, well, that Ernest hop with the apricot is a big hitter. apricot dominates, but you've also got a lot of orange rind, you've got a bit of passion fruit in there, mango. You're not getting much else in terms of the sort of lighter citrus like lemons and limes. You're not getting real freshness of grapefruit. You're not getting anything like pineapple as well. You're very much on those sort of the orange, passion fruit and apricot. They're the big flavours really, and they sort of do over dominate. It's got a soft mouthfeel. You're getting a little bit of alcohol burn, and that sort of takes some points away. I'm going to get 32 for flavour. It's not bad, but it's not it doesn't taste light and fresh. Probably because that's not what it's trying to do anyway. It's a 7.4% double dry hopped IPA, so you get a little bit, you can feel the strength a little bit in there. 32 then for flavour. Value for money. This beer was about £5.50. It's probably not the cheapest beer, but the Patrons products usually are a little bit more expensive anyway. Value for money, I'm giving it, I mean, it's quite got lots of different hops in it. It's 7.4%, so it's getting close to being a double IPA, but I give it a solid 7 for value. And then my overall experience, well, these are the sort of flavours that I like, but I don't think they're my favourite, you know, because I like mine. I do like the sort of mango, and I like pineapple, and I like sort of more brighter citrus like lemons and grapefruits. They're more those sort of New England sort of flavours you get on an IPA, and you're not getting that. You get more the sort of almost close to the sort of more West Coast. I wouldn't say there's bitterness, but it's getting closer to that, and I think it's just the higher ABV is pushing it towards that. So you're getting those oranges, you're getting orange rind, you're getting apricot. Those stone fruits are very strong, dominating flavors, but it's got a soft mouthfeel. I wouldn't say it's creamy, but it's not the sort of beer that you want to drink lots of, because it's quite drying of the throat. It does coat the mouth a little bit because it's got real dank, almost sweaty sort of flavoured fruit flavours in there. I'm giving it overall 13. It's not bad. Some people really like this. The softness, lack of no real bitterness really, but there is that sort of orange rind that gets close to it. But I'm giving it 13 for overall. And we top those scores up. It's a little bit disappointing. It's still recommended, 71 total score. It's still a good beer, still a white snake, slide it in, slow and easy and all that. But I think for Patrons projects, it's probably, you know, compared to, say, the other British Archive one, the wrong clothes for the right weather, something like that. The wrong clothes for the weather or something like that. And he had a guy on a skateboard on the front of it. You remember he was obviously another British Archive one. That was really good. It was a superb beer, and it was a highly recommended in the 80s, a very good beer, one of the highest rated beers that we've had this year. This one is a little bit disappointing, but I think that's more about my personal preference more than the quality of the beer. Patrons project, if you see Patrons projects, always try them, you know, whatever they are. They do something a little bit different. You know, they're a little bit more crafted, to excuse the pun. You know, they're the traditional craft, small batch, put a lot of effort into and make them slightly different, they've got an edge to them, a little bit of an edge, just to make them a little bit special. Now, sometimes that edge might be something that you don't like, so it doesn't work so well, but more often than not, they're more hits than misses, I think, and definitely worth your time. So, Patrons project. If anyone else has had this, let me know what you think. We've got another Patrons project one by Northern Monk this month. That's a newer one. It has literally come out in a week or so ago, so I think that's going to be a bit more fresher. But I think it's a different beer. I don't think it's only 6%, so it will be a different beer, but it will probably be a well-crafted craft beer. Great beer. So let me know what you think if you've had this. If you haven't, I'm still interested to know what your favourite Patrons project beer is. I still really like the one that they had was a passion fruit, and I should always remember what it is, but every time I mention it, I think I can't remember the name of it. But it had a really striking can art, and it was a passion fruit, and it was made with a lemonade soda as well. had that last year, and I thought that was a really good beer, and that really sort of got me interested in these patrons projects, because I think they're really good. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until the next one, keep on rocking.